My name's Rafiq was on, and this is nothing but that sports talk.
Scott, it's good. They're calling it a three. They may look at that. Osborne trying to answer. And Scott tracks down the rebound. 2-on-1 the other way. Lewis and Wiltshire. Lewis with the hammer.
They have done it on the defensive end here in the second half. Out top. Trey ball, good. Time left, 1.7 as a heave for Eladine. Just short. And Columbia keeps dancing.
You got a foul over to Garcia. Got a foul. Charles to Murray. Parker on the attack. He throws it down. But Cowboy up. McNeese has its first ever NCAA tournament victory.
When it's March, there's upsets. As I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk, I'm Rafiq Luzon alongside Ryan Walker. And March Madness is what we always talked about. We had a couple of higher seeds go down. And also certain New York teams managed to get some college basketball wins in some tournament for the men's and women's side. But let's start off with a school that's dear to my heart, at least at the beginning of my time there. And it's St. John's finally ending the NCAA tournament victory drought by blowing out Omaha 83 to 53. What are your thoughts on that, Ryan?
Oh, St. John's did what they had to do. They played their type of basketball, which is pretty scrappy and tough on the defensive end. Omaha came out very resurgent. They came to a 7-0 lead, and St. John's battled back to tie it up, and eventually they set the tone on the defensive end, which has been basically St. John's staple this year because their offense. Patrick asked me a question the other day. I had to rethink it again. I'll tell him on it, but he'll see this loop and go from there. He asked me if who was better, Julian Champagny, who went to St. John's, or R. Lewis Jr. I thought about it for a second. I wanted to actually say Champagny because I know Champagny is better all around. He affects more different things statistically and in the game than what Junior does, and hence both of the brothers, the Champagnes, Bishop Loughlin kids, they're pros. One went to Pitt, one went to St. John's. I think I said it at the moment because Lewis Jr. won Big East Player of the Year. He can shoot the ball. He has a lot of skills. What Pat pointed out was that he's a streak shooter. Even though he's a good shooter, he's a streak shooter. Sometimes he can look terrible on the shots, and other times, he's knocking it down and looks pure, especially the way he shoots it. But so I had to rethink that. Champagny is better overall. I think Luis can be better, but that's not the question. The question is about the game and how St. John's played. I think eventually what ended up happening, they set the tone on defense, especially Zuby, and Omaha is not gifted offensively. They play more of a team corral together, and they rebound the defense. They're well coached. This lady at my job, one of the residents, she's a St. John's alum, big St. John's fan. We always been talking college basketball the last 2-3 years she's been there in general. And they actually did, Channel 12 News came to the job to do a segment on her today. Well, Thursday now that we're recording, but I'm literally today on her time there, and and of course it made sense because St. John's is in the tournament and it worked out well. Now they've won, so now they're going to put that segment out like really quick. So it'll probably be out either actually today or maybe most likely tomorrow before they play their next game. So she asked me early in the week, she's like, she comes to me with all this stuff. She knows I do the stuff with the middle school and the high school and the college and everything. And she's like, what do you know about Omaha? What's going on in Omaha? And I said, let me tell you something. I said, I don't know anything about Omaha with the team this year. So I can't sit here and lie to you and say, yeah, I know this kid was, like I said, I don't know. And I said, I didn't get a chance to watch any of their games.
Me neither.
So I don't know anything about them. She pointed out to me, she said, they're a 15 seed. I said, okay. Well, I know St. John's is, of course, is a 2 seed in the tournament, so they're playing a 15 seed in the first round. But then it's like, I said, what is their record? I said, what conference did they come from and what is their record? She told me their conference and their record. And I think she said they were like 15-15 or 14-15. Remember, this team started off 4-9 in the season and had to turn it around. They showed you the whole segment about their, the whole thing, how they came to fame. So if they finish just, that doesn't mean that that's a loser. We did see there wasn't a lot of upsets today. There was just two really things that was different for the radar. For the most part, whoever was supposed to win won. But if you're a 15 seed and you qualify with a 500 record in a lower to mid conference, and you were a surprise to win your conference per state, not saying you're good in your conference, but they started off the season bad. Then that says that there clearly there's flaws to your team. And we know that St. John's is really good on the defensive end. They're really good in running in transition. Zuby is their best half-court player. You can give it to him in the post, and he can do a lot of things. Junior's a good shooter, works well off the screen and roll, works well off the spot-up jump shot and the transition jump shot. But and they set the tone there, and they played well because they had a little foul trouble. Kadari got 2 fouls early. Somebody else, Davion Smith, had picked up 2 fouls early. They played through that. The bench, some of the guys came and played. A lot of guys that don't play as much in the regular season, but played and made roles. And they did what they had to do. They're better than Omaha. That's what they were supposed to do. St. John's, as the guys have said during the game, in their second half, always plays very spirited basketball. So anybody in general playing St. John's, Omaha tried to do something today, which was to allow them to shoot 3-point shots because St. John's does not shoot the 3-point well. St. John's Achilles heels are the 3-point shot and the free throw line. So they tried to do that. It worked to an extent. St. John's eventually woke up, started making some shots. Wilshire made some shots. Junior made some shots. Their big fella came in and knocked down a 3. And see how March Madness is crazy? The big fella came in and knocked in a 3 and made 2 threes all year and managed to make one at that moment. So, and eventually they imposed their will because they're a better team. They came out in the second half. They were pressing. They got some steals. They got a dunk. Davion threw a lob to Junior. And after that, I knew it was over. So they took care of their business. Their next big test will be against Arkansas, who is a good team. I think Boogie Flan is out for the year, but they still have a good team. And St. John's should be fine in that game too, but they are playing a team that's a little bit more. They're better. Arkansas will be better.
Yeah, and they're being coached by John Calipari, a certain coach from Kentucky. So,
and what's good for St. John's is that, like I said, Boogie Flan is hurt, right? He's done for the season, right?
Possibly.
Yeah, so I don't think he's not playing tomorrow. I mean, if Saturday if they play. So from what I know, so that's a big plus, and that's a good test, and it helps too that St. John's is their location, of course, because they earned it for their seating, is kind of close to New York, so they have a good home crowd out there. The guys travel. It's great for New York. It's great for St. John's. They're taking care of their business. I expect them with their team to be a Sweet 16 team. I can even see Elite 8. Of course, they have possibilities to go all the way. There are many teams in the tournament that have the possibilities of going all the way. But I see them definitely getting out of this weekend and getting to the Elite 8. After the Elite 8, that's when I think it will be a little dicey. It might get dicey next game. You know what I'm saying? And remember, if Omaha's maybe a little bit more talented and they only go 7-8 deep, who knows how different the game goes? Because offensively, you could see when They ran out and like St. John's defense revved up and they played well and they advanced, and it's good for New York. They're making a good run.
Yeah, they definitely made a good run indeed. I mean, Lewis Jr. was knocking down shots. He had 22 points and about 8 assists. It's Gadari Richmond was knocking down shots, and yeah, the 3-point shooting that was barely there throughout the season, it woke up. It's pretty much the same way that they won those last 2 games of the Big East tournament before finally won it all. Well, they start off kind of shaky, but then once they figured out the offensive and defensive sets of the teams and iron out the kinks, they turn it around and pull out the victory.
Yeah, one thing that I give Pitino, I mean, you always got to give Pitino credit. He's great at what he does. He's found a way. Of course, the only coach in college basketball history to take 6 programs to the NCAA tournament, and he's won national championships as well too. So we know that. I believe one at Kentucky, one at Louisville, and this team this year. And Pitino likes him. He transferred a lot of guys to the portal. This team this year is not the prototypical Pitino type team. You know what I'm saying? Pitino teams usually shoot the 3 ball very well. St. John's does not. Pitino teams definitely defend. St. John's defends well, but he usually would full court press and trap more with his teams. He does it selectively at certain times with them. They're very good. They have some guys that are very good at that, and so on and so forth. And even just the talent level. But that's going to change over a while because, like you said, he's going to, with Davion Smith, Kadari, and who else is moving on? It's one other player that's graduating. Kadari, Davion Smith, and there's one more. He's not replacing none of those guys with high school guys. He's going to go into the transfer portal. And then I'm pretty sure that next
Ford, Scott.
There it goes, Scott. So the next year is probably the year when Pitino is going to make a big pitch to get some of these good top high school kids, on top of still doing the portal, to build the program over a while and get that different talent of the high school talent in, mixed in with that. But the transfer portal and the NIL has changed that on how guys go about building their teams and their programs. And they'll get better at that. But they're going to definitely have to be savvy, especially even in this next game. See, when you're a 1 seed and a 2 seed, normally that's supposed to be an easy game. We know we've seen a 16 seed beat a 1. We know we've seen 15 seeds plenty of times beat a 2, so we understand that. But most 116 and 215 matchups should look like what we normally seen today, right? 2 to 15 means your team at 2 is supposed to be a lot more talented, at least per se, than the other team. Now, this is when the NCAA tournament really starts. When you win your first game and you go into that next round, that's when things change a little bit. That's when everybody's a little bit more even. Matchups, momentum, things change, take into a consideration. Remember, Arkansas is a team from the SEC. SEC had 14 teams go to the NCAA tournament. That's the most ever in the history of college basketball, right? And they've won a lot of games. Arkansas is battle tested from that conference, so they're well coached as well too. This is an interesting matchup between Calipari and Pitino. This is going to sell a lot of tickets. You know what I'm saying? I believe Calipari is an Italian guy from New York as well too, just like Pitino, right? Italian guy from New York. Those guys have strong bounds. They're actually well familiar with each other, and now they're going to be matched up against each other. St. John's, Pitino being 2 years, Calipari now being first year at Arkansas, having a lot of his guys can transfer over. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because I think Arkansas is a slight bit more talented than St. John's, slight, but they're still, to me, evenly matched. And they play kind of similar with certain things. So we're going to see how this matchup works out. But when you get to that next round, or the first or second seed, guys are pretty much even. And this is when you see when the tournament starts, in that after you get out of the first win. So they'll definitely have to shoot the 3 ball a little bit better. They didn't get tested with a lot with that today, but when they go to the free throw line, they have to do that as well too. We talked about how they're not great there. And it took them time today. They got their feet wet. It takes time in the tournament. They got to get off to a little bit of a better start. Arkansas is a better team than that. There will be the team they played has a great coach, but Calipari has a bigger resume per se in the collegiate program, and we're going to see how that matchup works out. NIL and transfer, Rafiq, has changed the way every team, including, me, I love St. John's, but, I'm a Duke fan, even how Duke has prepared their teams. We got 4 guys at the transfer portal. On top of getting young kids, it's different. I was talking with this guy, one of the guys in my store in the neighborhood, and we were talking about North Carolina. It's not the bash on North Carolina. North Carolina had a big-time victory in their opening preliminary tournament. God bless them. R.J. Davis played so well. In the past, I used to hear so many things about guys saying, oh, Duke doesn't make any great NBA players, which is like, I always hate that perception because, first of all, if you're good or great in college, just because you're good or great in college, it doesn't matter necessarily the institution that you went to. It is your responsibility on the next level to make yourself good, not the institution. So you can't accredit the fact to say, yeah, because this kid went to school there, there's supposed to be some NBA star. There's no direct correlation.
You have to work at it.
Right. So the one of the stigmas with Duke used to be, oh, they be so good in college, so great, they don't make great NBA players. Then over time that went to crap because we got guys like Kyrie Irving who are great players that went to Duke. You know what I'm saying? NBA champion, Olympian. We've had a plethora of kids, whether he hasn't played a lot or not. Zion is a great talent. R.J. Barrett is a great talent. Brandon Ingram is a great talent. Luke Kennard's had a great career a good career in the NBA. There are a lot of others. Quinn Cook is an NBA champion. There's a lot of others I could go into, but the list is extensive. Mm-hmm. North Carolina hasn't produced any great players in the NBA in the last 10, 15, almost 20 years. Name me the last good player to come from North Carolina. You know who it really is? Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes.
They haven't had
NBA champion in his own right.
Right, the Vince Carters, the Antoine Jaminsons, the Michael Jordans, the Kenny Jet Smiths, the James Worthy, and that used to be there and other people's battle cry against us. And now that's the whole contraposition. You haven't heard it. North Carolina has to do different things to recruit their team. See, it's not like before where guys just go to schools because of their name. Duke still has to recruit heavy and be in the game. Guys are not just going to Duke just because it says Duke across the jersey. We watch AJ Dynasta, the #1 player in the nation. He's got to go to BYU. There's NIL money everywhere. There's opportunities everywhere. So guys are just not going just to the UCLAs and the North Carolinas and the Dukes and the Floridas and the, you know what I'm saying? All these, they're not just going to those big schools just because, they're big schools. I know I'm going to play 30 games. I know I'm going to be on national TV and I have a chance to be a pro. You could be a pro anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But you good. I'm trying to tell the delivery guy to leave it on the ground. But St. John should be all right in their second matchup, and then you just go from there.
Yeah, that's a fact. But now that we got the game out the way, right now, this past week has been literally a lifetime worth of memories because, as you kind of already know, I mean, I had a chance to attend what was like my second biggest tournament, but this is more meaningful than the year I covered it when UConn won the biggest tournament on their way towards blowing every team out and winning the national championship because this is St. John's time. I mean, they had to come from behind to early deficits just like they did tonight to win games against Marquette and Creighton. But this is just something that you can't just miss. I know you saw my interview with Kadari Richmond. He was happy about winning it all. And obviously, You was at the Big East tournament up until, of course, the semifinals.
Yeah,
Like,
I went Thursday and Friday.
yeah. And the Big East is literally off to a good start. Creighton just blew out Louisville, and I already talked about St. John's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Were you all impressed about the tournament in this experience compared to previous experiences?
Oh no, I mean, I mean, it's great. It's great. I've been going to the Big East tournament probably for the last. Me and Spring have been going for a while now, so I want to say a nice, easy, clean uh, uh, decade. Me and him. So it's definitely always great to be there, to be a part of it. This year was more cool and more special because the New York team is doing so well. Sometimes I feel, I mean, I never could go back. I've been with them for so long and so loyal, and I'm a Duke fan. But sometimes I wish that when I was watching college basketball and started watching it as a youngin, sometimes I wish that at that time St. John's was good because I'm from New York, and you know how I feel about being with liking New York teams. I would have preferred to have been a St. John's fan, but I've been a Duke fan since '92, so I can't just turn around and be like, "Oh, St. John's is good now," and and just run with St. John's. But that's why I tell you, I support them. I want them. I won't be. Besides the fact of hearing Patrick's mouth all the time, I won't be angry or disappointed if St. John's wins the national championship. You know what I'm saying? Or makes a deep run or Final Four wise or so on and so forth because they're from New York. But and a lot of the kids there, you've been around them before. Like the Kadaris, we've all seen them in person. I spoke to him actually the day of it because we were sitting there where the players sit after the game, and reminded him of me and Coach Blue and how play with him in No Sleep to Brooklyn and South Shore on those days and so on. And Simeon, I talked to Simeon for a second. Very familiar with him. He did very good things at IA State when he was there. Always played well. Jersey kid who played with like the Northeast basketball crew, and his brother Chris Wilcher was a very good player too. Also did and I wanted I think no did he win at IA State? No, I don't really think, but he played very well there, and he was at Xavier. I know he transferred. I think he went to Dayton afterwards. I don't know. I don't know where exactly now, but he was a good player, and so it's good to see them do good for New York. So like Dita, and one of my guys is a big St. John's fan. Called me like, you see my Johnnies? You see my Johnnies? We always talk basketball. We always go back and forth, and he knows I like the Johnnies, but he knows I'm a Duke fan too. So he used to always, especially sometimes throughout the years when there were games that St. John's would beat Duke. Oh man, he would give me an earful. So but it's great that what they did. The Garden was very, very electric for St. John's, and what they did, it was always, even as a Duke fan, the Big East tournament is definitely always the best tournament from all the conference tournaments. You can't equate for the energy at the Garden when you got teams like Creighton and Xavier and DePaul and UConn, St. John's, Marquette, these schools that got very passionate fan bases. I mean, you were around it, so you see the schools are
very passionate. Like, seriously.
Yes.
I mean, as you kind of saw, I got a chance to go witness the watch party to see where St. John's was going to have this election, which ended up being what it was. And then, of course, there was a send-off event. I got to do some stuff with W Red TV, interview some of the fans and players from other teams to talk about St. John's men's basketball and ask them, like, what would it mean for them to win a national championship, among other questions. But, yeah, it was a good experience being around that environment.
And the radio show, you got to do that as well, too, over the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Got to do play-by-play. I got to do board operator for WSJU, and I promise you at some point in your future, I'm going to iron out the kinks to get nothing but that sports talk on WSJU, and I would love for you to come down whenever you have the time. But that's a conversation when we get off the air. But more to the points, just to get back in the thick of things.
Yeah, about the tournament.
Actual company. and actually being at Carson Arena for the very first time. It's just amazing.
Was that your first time?
Yeah, my first time being in that arena. I mean, I'm a student. Well, you know my background there, so I don't need to keep on saying it over and over. But yeah, I even had a chance to check out some of the PSAL games. Of course, for personal reasons, I only got to see the girls' game and the final 2 minutes of the boys' game when they were playing at Carson Arena. But yeah, it was a good environment to be in.
Yeah, do Carter Secker Arena, man. Oh, I thought you got you seen the last couple of minutes of the Jefferson game?
Yeah, for yeah, I only got to see the last couple of minutes because, well, I briefly left after the girls' game for personal reasons. I'll tell you more about it off the air. But yeah, that's what I had to do.
No, nice, man. That Carter Secker's it's such like a cozy big gym because it's easy to lap around it, like the one big square when you're on the upper part. You know what I'm talking about. But it's definitely I've been to a few games there. And definitely when St. John's was playing and my one of my I call him my cousin when we was through marriage when I was with them at first. He went to Christ the King and then he went to Manhattan. But when he was at Christ the King, he played. It was him, Malik Booth. Malik Booth went to St. John's. Irvin Walker went to Florida. Ryan Pearson went to George Mason. Andrew went to Manhattan. He had a couple of the guys that went places, and because Malik was at St. John's, we used to catch games sometimes. And then after he graduated, we would go and he would, give us tickets sometimes. And through Swinger, I went a few times to St. John's. And there's a lot of high school games that always, like you said, will always be there. So we would go and catch it. I mean, I've been going to St. John's games for a while, because I had, like I said, there was always a big public school game or something going on there. And you would just go and catch it inside of Carter Secker Arena. And it's good that you got a chance to, get the experience. It would have been nice, it would have been nice to do it. But you see how life is crazy? If Carter Secker was alive right now, he would have been jubilant to see a run like this, because it's been a while. St. John's really had some really tough years. And even though they were always New York's team, they've had some really tough years throughout the years. So it's good to see them better like this and making a run. And hopefully good luck against Arkansas. We'll see how they do it. How about Drake, right? Drake made an upset today, a so-called sort of upset.
Yeah, Drake defeated Missouri, and McNeese defeated Clemson. That's what I meant when I was talking about upset. Yeah. Which upset impressed you the most? Because that McNeese game against Clemson was just something else.
Honest to God, to me, none of them. McNeese State is the upset, and Drake technically is the upset too with the win. But that program has been to the tournament several times over the last couple of years, and always has made a mark. They play good basketball, so I'm not devastated by seeing Drake get a victory in the tournament. McNeese State is probably more of the upset coming from the conference they come from, but guess what? They won their conference. They were pretty much the leaders in their conference almost the whole year. The kid Copeland out of Philadelphia, who started off at Syracuse at first, he's a baller. He's in his junior year now, I believe. And they got some upperclassmen. What it is that they steamrolled. They came out they punched Clemson right in the face. And they built a big lead. They only won by 2 points. It was 66-64. So Clemson figured it out
67 actually.
Battle back. So
69-67 actually.
It was a 2-point game. Right, 69-67. Okay. So Clemson just woke up too late. And the deficit was too much. Sometimes a deficit can be too much in the tournament. And That's going to be their demise. They're a good team. Clemson, I respect them all year. I'm always upset with the Duke Clemson matchup because it's very rare in a year they play twice. They always play once. And for the most part, we always try to go down there to play them in Clemson. Sometimes they come to Cameron. And the thing is that, and which they should, Clemson and Duke is a strong, quiet rivalry. Clemson people are not fond of Duke. And I get it. Duke's has been more victorious against them in the past with a lot of really crazy wins.
Mm-hmm.
But Clemson thrives when they beat Duke in a season, and that was such a big thing when they won. I wanted to play them in the ACC tournament so bad because I really wanted to kick their behinds, especially if Duke would have had all their keys there. But Duke won the ACC tournament with, like I tell people, without their best talent and player and without their best defender. But Clemson kind of got a reality check. In this tournament, you got to wake up. You know what I'm saying? You're a decent team. You're expected to do some numbers. That first half, that's what always scares me with teams in the tournament. I'm always key about how guys start off. See, you see a St. John's game today, you can be a better seed and start off like that, like I said, as a 1 or a 2 against a 16 or a 15. You can't start doing that when the matchups start getting 8-9, 6-11, or when you start getting more in the tournament. When you have bad starts like that and you don't cut the lead at some point, they went into half, they were down like 20-something points. You know what I'm saying? So that takes a big uphill battle to get back into. And by the time they really caught up to themselves, it was too late. And but that's what the tournament is about. You got to have good starts. Everything's got to work your way with certain things, and you need a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all boils down to luck because you didn't even think there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 times where you don't think upsets going to happen, but it ends up happening anyway.
Right. March Madness.
Yep. And to briefly continue the March Madness conversation, how about the Columbia women's basketball team as they finally managed to get their very first NCAA tournament victory in the first 4 against Washington, a team that was formerly part of the Pac-12 at one point before all the Pac-12 teams left for different conferences. But more to the point, Columbia finally got a first win in the NCAA tournament for the women's side. What's that got you thinking about as far as the rise of New York college teams in the NCAA tournament?
No, that's a big time win. Columbia girls deserved it. They've had a good year. They've been in the process of the coaches and players, changing that program over the last 2-3 years. That's big for the program, and that's big for where they can surge to. When you think Ivy League, and especially you think Columbia, even though they have always had, I was saying, athletics and sports, they have guys that play for Columbia football that made the NFL. You know what I'm saying? That could be good. Like Marcellus Wiley, who you see on TV. He's from Columbia, graduated from Columbia. Believe it or not, Robert Kraft didn't, play sports extensively, but Robert Kraft, the general manager and owner of the New England Patriots, is from Columbia. Their lacrosse teams have always been good, male and female. Their volleyball teams have always been good. The basketball team has always had decent guys here and there, but the reality of it is that Ivy Leagues are strong. All colleges are academic places, and you're going for learning. But the ones with the higher standards to get into, per se, like the Hofstras, the St. John's, the Stanfords, the MITs, the Dukes, the Yales, the Princetons, you know what I'm saying? The Columbias, you get the Browns. Those schools, for an athlete, it's way more difficult to recruit for those type of schools, the Notre Dames, because not only you can't just be good athletically or on the field or whatever sport you play. You got to be good academically. The schools are not going to allow you to be in there if you can't do something great academically. So it's different to recruit any kind of player to those schools and still be good on the court. You know what I'm saying? And for them to have to be a school like that where they're so gifted academically and to be good now in basketball on that side for the women's game is super. Then I know those ladies down there the Lions are very happy.
Of course they are. I mean, what you expect? This is the first time this program's ever experienced something like this.
100%.
A year ago, you experienced the tournament. Right now, you won it all.
100%.
All right. Now, what's been going on in your neck of the woods, Ryan?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Where do I start? Oh my God. It's been great. You see what we got on already. So you already know Crunch Time Basketball. Us for Long Island, the Strong Island. Make sure you when you do some edits too, get this out there. We tag the guys in too. So Crunch Time Basketball, we're back. We've been at Long Beach, the MLK Center in Long Beach. So shout out for Long Beach and Long Island for the MLK Center guys for letting us have the opportunities to be down there. To start it off, we'll be this week in Massapequa on Saturday at the regular gym. We always be at the Massapequa. I believe at some point we'll be at Uniondale High School too as well. But we'll know that in the next 1 weeks. But everybody could definitely know we're back at the Field House, 5600 Old Sunrise Highway, Massapequa, New York. Saturday, first game starts at 1. 5 games on the day. I think the last game was at 6:20. So we got games going all day for the Pro-Am circuit. Got some good teams in there. Gas Wars, Strong Arm Ballers, T5 All-Stars, All Gas No Breaks is in there. Compound is in there. So, we got some teams that are there and trying to make their name. Legacy, you know what I'm saying? Facts Worldwide. It's some teams that's trying to make their name and their claim to fame in the tournament. And that's going on now. We're going into the third week of that. Still doing work with my guy, Prime, my man, Prime Focus Studios, LLC, my man, Art Miller, and my man, Jamal King, Marley Mall, guys from Queens with the Team Focus team and the Takeover tournament and what they're doing. And shout out to JV from JetBlue for On Deck Sports Unlimited, On Deck Soccer. April 26th will be in Jamaica to do soccer for them out in Jamaica. So we have a couple of days out there where we're going to do that. And, that's on the horizon as well, too. London, in the fall, we might be going to London. So that's another one coming up as well. That's good with that. The Takeover tournament is in the second week. I'll be down there live streaming with them on Sunday. I did 2 live stream games and announced the premier game as well on course. So it was good, and they got a good thing brewing up there now. Some better teams coming in as well too. Fender and everything was there, so that was pretty cool. On Saturday, I got to work house for hoop event. Young man, 15 years old, started an organization to help people with many physical conditions going on. And his mother shouted out to me when I was at the Brotherhood. And a few months ago, liked my work, her son liked my work, and they wanted me to announce. So the date has finally come up. It's this Saturday, the 22nd. Deuce McBride has autographed a basketball that they're raffling off. Mike Sweetney, ex-Knicks Georgetown guy, will be in the building. We're there for the kids. It'll be 3-on-3 games amongst the girls and the boys from 11 to 5 at Huntington Rail Station at the church, St. Raphael's Church over there. Big gymnasium area where it's going to be at. So I'll be doing that Saturday. Crunch Time's here. 5 a.m. Brotherhood is over. Championship game was really good last week at Sousa Gym. June 7th, they'll be back. So I got a couple Saturdays to get regular sleep again and not be up at the crack of dawn Saturdays and Sundays. But June 7th, they'll be back, and they have a lot of teams that are ready for that. And we're going to be back to, do what we do for them in the summertime as well. And I might have missed something, but that's it. Brotherhood Championship completed. Crunch Time in motion. We'll be Massapequa this week. Takeover tournament in motion. Sunday will be at Eagle Academy, of course, doing the Pro-Am. At the end of the month, going into April, he also will have his 14 and under, 16 and under thing going on too. So we'll be locked in with that. Jamaica, April 26th with On Deck Sports Unlimited, On Deck Soccer. And March 29th, Elmont High School will be there. Will be the 20 Presents High School Showcase. If you free, it'd be lovely for you to be in the building. Some of the top kids from Long Island and New York City will be playing at this. We'll have a ladies game and like a freshman, like, you know, Rising Stars game, and of course Future Stars like Rising Stars game is going to be a lot of high school games. I'll be announcing and showcasing, doing all of them now. I spoke with my man, Rashad. He wants me to do the women's game, so we're gonna do work with that, and that's it. That's an abundance in a nutshell. And you know, St. John's the Big East and regular season champions, and one game, one in. So, and let's see how my Dukies do today.
Yeah, let's see. All right, that wraps this episode of the But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker, and can't wait to see you go from there and everything fall to fruition.
Yeah, man. Indeed, man. Just, you know, always great to be on. Appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? And let's hope St. John's continue to keep making this run. Like I said, let's see how Dookie does today. And you know, we're doing great stuff, man. You go to, you know, get that master's in a few years. You're making strides with the radio station with them, doing the media work, being a part of it. Great time for you to be a part of St. John's and what's going on, because they'll be competitive for the next few years. What's going on, and you see the work we're doing. So we just, you know, just one day at a time. Thank God, and just keep doing what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank God. He's always has our backs.
Absolutely.
For Ryan Walker, Rafiq Luzon, we'll see you next time.